Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all for today's orientation program at Sri Sant Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering, Shegaon. We are honored to have Mr. Kamlesh Shirvate sir with us, Head of UI UX of Business Solution Private Limited, with over 11 years of experience in the IT industry. Mr. Shirvate sir is renowned expert in the front-end development and UI UX design, working with technologies such as React, Angular, .NET, and Kotlin. Before we begin, I would like to invite Mr. Kamlesh Shirbate sir to please come on the stage. I would like to invite Mr. Ajinkya Nagre sir to felicitate Mr. Kamlesh Shirbate sir. Now, without any further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Kamlesh Shirbate sir to share his insights on the power of front-end development and the future of UI UX in shaping the modern technology. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Uh, Thanks, Pratik, for the good introduction. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So, as Pratik has already introduced me, right? But I will give my quick introduction. Uh, I am Kamlesh Shirvate. Uh, I am heading Center of UI Excellence in Business Solutions, Nagpur. It is a software company or a IT company, and we generally visit your college for meaning every year for a recruitment, meaning for a final year students. So there in business, I generally work on UI technologies, but other than UI technologies, I expertise in React, Angular, .NET, and the Kotlin kind of things. There I mentor teams uh, and the other project with their projects for maintaining the user interfaces and those standards like UI and the UX. As I have told that you are first year students, right? And this is your first day of the college, correct? Okay. So this meaning it is not something like that ki, okay, you should have some experience or you should have some knowledge about what is a front end or what is this UI UX things, right? uh, because it is very different than those things, right? So uh, before we go to the slides or the presentation or the things that we are going to learn today, right? uh, we can we can define a baseline, okay, so that you can get or you can at least try to or you can get that flavor whatever we are talking about it here today. Okay. So how many of you know about the technology called HTML? You can raise your hand. Okay, good number of people knows about the HTML. How many of you know about the CSS? Okay. And how many of you know about the JavaScript? Okay, great. Meaning more than 50% people knows. That's okay, because you are in first year, and it is because it is your first day. It is expected that you might not know about these things, but it is good that some of you knows at least the terminologies, meaning what we are going to know here, right? And uh, I assure you that after this presentation, and when you step out of this auditorium, you will have the glimpse of what actually the front end is, or what actually the front end development is, what the UI and what the UX things are, right? And I believe that it will motivate you to uh, think about on that perspective, meaning not only on the front end, right, but on the other aspects and the other things as well. Meaning, while you learning your engineering, right, you will have these thoughts while learning those things as well, not only for the front end, right, meaning which is our topic today, right? What is our topic is the power of the front end, right? A journey in a UI and UX. But after, meaning I believe that after completion of this so-called speech, right, which I am delivering you today, you will get that motivation to think about on that way, right? So we will start with our presentation. Okay, yeah. So what we are going to, meaning what I am, so here I am to give a speech today, right? So it is not limited to that. Okay, meaning uh, I will try to give whatever I can, right, based on your experience, right? So I have lowered these things today for just because for you, right? Because I told that you are all a first year students, right? So so it is not only that I am giving a speech, but I will try to give whatever I can, right? Meaning after this session we will have the question answer session, meaning whatever questions you have related to UI, related to UX, related to front end development, right? Meaning we can talk about that. Okay, so what we are going to see today is we will see the foundations of the front end development, the tools and technologies, the evolution of the UI development, and the conclusion and future outlook, meaning what we can, meaning what is the future in this, right? So first is the foundation of the front end. Okay, so what is actually the front end? So front end is uh, the practice of creating the visuals, right, and interacting them with each other. And meaning you can think it is that way, meaning creating a web page, right, or creating a web application, or even in that case, meaning all of you will have that, or all of you must have that smartphones, right? You have, so everyone has that today. So you use various applications, right? The mobile application, some of you have Android application, some of you have iOS applications, or iPhones and those Android phones, right? But every phone has those apps which we store either from the Play Store or from the iTunes stores, yeah, iStores, right? So 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 what are those? So those are the interfaces, right, which actually communicate something to you. So you don't know what is actually happening behind that scenes, right? But you only see what you are intended to see, right? So 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 do these type of things happens in a this front end development. That is why it is called a front end and not a back end, right? Sorry. So that is why it is called a front end development and not a back end development. Back end development is a separate part, meaning where this all the logics, calculations happens, right, at the server level and all those stuff. So we are not going into that direction, right? But it is what it is, meaning the front end development is the things which we visually see, right? Whether it is a web page, whether it is a website, or whether it is your mobile apps, right? So so that is a front end development. And it acts, meaning as I said, right, it acts as a bridge between the server, or a backend technology, whatever we can, and the user. So meaning can you meaning you thought, meaning when you, let's say, if you use Amazon, in this process we will use Amazon as our example, Amazon or any e-commerce site, right? So you observe that whenever we open, let's say, Amazon app or a Myntra app or a Flipkart app, what we do is we search for a product, right? And then we type in a search that okay, I have to buy a shoes, Adidas shoes, right? So it doesn't tell us, meaning how it is processing the data, meaning how it is going to database, how it is fetching the data from the database, how, meaning from where it is getting those images or the products, right? It only shows what is the intended product that you are searching, right? So that UI is just a bridge between the user, meaning us, and the server side technology or the server side codes, right? Which has written to get the data from the databases, right? So it is just a bridge between the server side and the user to communicate the things to the end user, meaning for us. And uh, also the importance of the front end development, right? So what is actually the UX, meaning the first thing is UX, which is actually, it is a short form for the user experience. What does that mean? It actually implies, meaning what user intended to, or how the user is interacting with your application or a page, right? And what is his experience. ठीक है, अभी थोड़ा मैं सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बता देता हूँ इसको, कि जैसे कि आप, meaning if you, meaning before some 7 8 years, right? If you try to uh, buy something online, so let's take example again for the Amazon, ठीक है? what 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 I mean, how those applications are, कि हम क्या करते थे, we go to that application, ठीक है, amazon.in वगैरह या फिर मोबाइल में, and then we search for let's say if I want to buy a spectacle, right? or any goggle. So how we do it, we go, we select for spectacles or we search for spectacles, we scroll, ठीक है, ये अच्छा दिखा, ठीक है, इसको add to cart and then go for proceed for the checkout. But nowadays, I'm just talk I'm trying to give you how the important of UX is this. अभी क्या होता है, अभी के इसमें if you go for any let's say meaning for the same experience, अगर आप if you want to go to buy a spectacle, right, in any of the site, they ask you, meaning they show you the results, okay, these are the spectacles. Then after clicking on that, it will show you more information about it, meaning what glasses it has or what the dimensions it has. Then it asks you for a try it yourself as well, meaning you can capture your photo, right, right from that application, and then it captures your face and then apply that same spectacles on your face. Now you can try, meaning virtually on that application only, how that spectacle will look like on your face. So that is actually the UX, ठीक है, यानी कि meaning how, meaning what experience we are giving to the user, ठीक है, so that user retentions happens. आपने वो ये देखा है जो अभी रिसेंटली वो शार्क टैंक इंडिया वगैरह चलते रहता टीवी पे, राइट? सो when the presenter presents their products to those judges, वो जज क्या बोलते हैं, आपका यूजर रिटेंशन कितना है, ठीक है, यानी कि उनको एक क्वेश्चन हर एक को पूछते हो, व्हाट इज योर यूजर रिटेंशन. सो व्हाट इज एक्चुअली यूजर रिटेंशन इज, कि अगर कोई यूजर आपका एप्लीकेशन यूज कर रहा है, ठीक है, कोई ऐप है, कोई साइट है, कोई वेबसाइट है, कोई ई कॉमर्स स्टोर है, तो एक यूजर अगर आपके साइट पे आता है तो उसका रिटेंशन क्या है. सो व्हाट डज दैट मीन एक्चुअली, कि वो यूजर आपके पास रिटर्न कैसे आएगा, यानी कि उसने एक बार तो परचेस कर लिया, वेदर ही इज गोइंग टू repurchase the things again from your site or from your application, तो वो ऐसा उनका वो क्वेश्चन रहता है. सो दिस यूजर रिटेंशन इज ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ दिस यूएक्स, मीनिंग आप यूजर को कैसे अपील करते हो व्हेन यू राइट वन पेज और व्हेन यू डेवलप द एप्लीकेशन, मीनिंग हाउ यू आर मीनिंग व्हाट एक्सपीरियंस यू आर गिविंग टू योर यूजर, दैट इज ऑल्सो बिकम इम्पोर्टेंट. अगर देखो आप ही कोई एक आधा एप्लीकेशन देखो, जोमेटो वगैरह आप लोग यूज करते होंगे, या फिर अगेन वी कैन टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ द अमेजोन ओनली. अभी मैंने समझ लो अमेजोन ओपन किया, ठीक है, मैंने कुछ सर्च किया, अभी वो बार बार अगर ब्रेक हो रहा है एप्लीकेशन, सो आई विल गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, ठीक है. मैं Amazon को छोड़ दूंगा एंड देन आई विल गो टू द फ्लिपकार्ट, मैं फ्लिपकार्ट का ऐप ओपन करूंगा, फ्लिपकार्ट में वही चीज से सर्च करूंगा, अगर मेरे को फ्लिपकार्ट में भी सेम प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो आई विल सर्च फॉर द अदर एप्स, राइट? सो so it is that thing, meaning why that UI thing is important, it is because of this, ठीक है? Yeah, so importance of UX, so enhance in the user satisfaction, meaning whatever I have just told कि अगर मैं कुछ frustrate होता हूँ, meaning if I visit your website or visit your web application or visit your any app, right? If I meaning if I am not satisfied or yeah, if I am not getting whatever I intended for, ठीक है? So I will then go away from your these things, right? So that is why this UX becomes so important. uh, as I mentioned the example of Shark Tank, meaning why they ask, meaning आपका यूजर रिटेंशन कितना है, इट इज फ्रॉम दैट बिजनेस परस्पेक्टिव, मीनिंग एज आई टोल्ड, राइट, कि एक अगर एक कस्टमर मेरे पास आता है, मेरा एप्लीकेशन यूज करता है, राइट, या फिर वेबसाइट पे जाता है, इफ ही डजंट गेट व्हाट ही इंटेंडेड, राइट, ही विल नॉट कम बैक अगेन, बट इफ ही कम बैक्स अगेन मीन्स ही इज इंक्रीजिंग योर बिजनेस, ठीक है? So that is also the one point, meaning in a meaning why we should think about UX when we develop any front end application, facilitating the accessibility and the inclusivity. So prioritizing UI UX in software development ensures that the applications are accessible to the diverse range of users. uh, you might have also seen in few of the applications or in few of the websites, so they gave us the ability to also, meaning rather than just, meaning, some articles like medium.com or even in big articles, right, uh, where you have those long list of contents, they have there we can get the ability that if you want to hear, you can hear the content. There is also a button present on some of the application, if we click on that, it, meaning we can hear what the contents are, meaning by using the speakers and the headphones. So this actually gives the ability for the other people as well, meaning not a normal people, but the people like the disabilities or visually impaired people, right? So we can now have that things as well in our web pages, even in our web applications. So this type of things improve your user experience while in a development, right? Okay, so key trends in UI UX, meaning these things that we are talking about. So what are the key trends? So meaning as I mentioned earlier that before 7 or 8 years ago, uh, meaning whatever applications we develop, right, those are only intended to provide the functionality, ठीक है? कि अगर मेरा एक कुछ टेबल है, कुछ डेट फिल्टर है, मैंने डेट सिलेक्ट किया एंड फिल्टर बटन पे क्लिक किया तो आई शुड सी द डेटा टेबल फॉर्मेट, ठीक है? बट टूडेज in today's scenario everything is changed. Now what client want is they don't want only to get the data in a tabular format. What they want is they want that in charts, ठीक है? कुछ ग्राफ्स में दिखाओ, कुछ इमेजेस में दिखाओ. So these things change and the perspective also get changed, meaning the client's perspective, meaning whoever is using that application, ठीक है, also gets changed. आपने कभी ये यूज किया है लाइक आईआरसीटीसी का टिकटिंग बुकिंग जो वेबसाइट है उनका, आपने वो, ठीक है, मे बी आपने वो अभी रिसेंटली यूज किया होगा, 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल में यूज किया, बट बिफोर लेट्स से 4-5 years ago that website was sucked, ठीक है? मीनिंग you cannot even book a ticket, meaning not only tatkal but even normal ticket, it is very meaning tedious task to book the site. But now eventually they have also changed their UI and their experience as well, ठीक है? तो ऐसा ही रहता है ना कि what, और पहले कैसा था कि because they have only one site, meaning we cannot book from other sites, meaning that's the only site where we can book ticket, so we have to wait for hours and hours to just book a single ticket on that site earlier. But they have improved their UI UX as well. Now it is easy to book tickets or all those things that we do on that site, right? So what is trending now in this area? So rise of a dark mode. So you people might have seen that whenever you visit any site or any application, at the right top corner you will see that moon kind of icon, meaning on clicking on which you it can ask you to change the color of the site or to change the mode of the site. It may be a colorful website, or it may be they may be asked for you to whether you want to see it in a light mode or whether you want to see it in a dark mode, right? So by using by switching those things, it can actually change the way the user see into that page, right? And how it helps the increasing popularity of dark mode in application enhances the user experience by reducing the eye strain and improving the battery life of OLED screen. I think normally the mobiles which are there in market from last 2-3 years are all using those OLED screen, and we see कि एक ही दिन में अपना पूरा बैटरी ड्रेन हो जाता है. I mean, why it happens? It is because those, meaning whenever you use applications, right, it not only use, meaning the battery is not only used by that application, but what the contents you are seeing on that screen, that also reduce your battery for the day. meaning कभी अभी अपन देखते हैं ना कि एक ही दिन में बैटरी ड्रेन हो रहा है. why it is happening? So it is all happening because of the contents that you are showing, or we can see on that applications, right? Then micro interactions. The use of micro interactions, subtle the animations or the design element that provide the feedbacks. आपने ये देखा होगा कि कुछ कुछ एप्लीकेशंस में आपने देखा होगा कि यू you perform some activity, right? But you never get a response from them. कि अगर समझ लो कि जैसे कि आपने अभी आप तो बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशंस आप आज आजकल यूज करते हो, राइट? सो यू वुड हैव सी कि कुछ कुछ इनपुट फॉर्म्स है, राइट? कोई एप्लीकेशन में जहां पे आपको रजिस्ट्रेशन वगैरह करने को पड़ रहा है, राइट? वेयर यू पुट योर डिटेल्स, एंड व्हेन यू क्लिक ऑन द those save buttons, sometimes it doesn't respond you back, meaning what happens you don't know whether it is saved successfully or not, right? Meaning you don't get any feedback. So in UI UX, meaning if you want to have a better experience to the user, you should have those pop-ups. अभी कोई कोई केसेस में आपने देखा होगा कि when you enter some information and click on save, some pop-up gets open, right? Or some floating message goes from your screen that user saved successfully, or your details has been saved successfully. That's kind of feedback. So that is actually micro interaction. These little details are very important in terms of the user experience. ठीक है? तो जब भी whenever we write a UI or a code, or in your case the HTML and CSS things, right? So this should also, meaning these are also the important things in those areas. Then voice user interfaces, meaning as I told earlier, right? Meaning we can meaning for the long contents, there we can able to hear as well those contents, meaning our website reads those contents for us. So just like that, we can, meaning how we can interact with the website. So that part is to hearing, but we can talk with our web pages as well, meaning we can ask our web page to uh, go on that page or click on that menu, click on home menu, click on that view details buttons, like that. Meaning we can have these things in our web pages as well when we develop those things. So with the growth of smart speakers and the voice assistants, integrating the voice user interfaces into the applications is becoming essential, allowing for hands-free interaction and the accessibility for users with disabilities. Meaning, as I told earlier, right? Meaning the people with disabilities, meaning right? Meaning I cannot explain that much, but yeah, the people with disabilities, meaning who don't have, meaning let's say without hands, right? So how can then interact with the application, right? So then because of this, by the use of this voice user interfaces, meaning if we give them that ability, so they will then they will then able to access the those contents, right? In technological term for these things we use ARIA, meaning ARIA, meaning some of you know the HTML, right? So in HTML, for every tag we have attributes, like meaning for IMG tag we have SRC attribute, right? For div tag we have styles, ID, class, right? So that there we have also the attributes for the ARIA, which actually works for this voice user interfaces. ठीक है. Then a personalization keeps the user interested and helps them associate positive memories with an app or website experience. Meaning uh, meaning when meaning अभी देखो कैसा रहता कि कोई आप आपके लिए अगर कुछ पेज बना है, राइट, एंड अगर उसमें कुछ 10 बॉक्सेस होंगे, बट you always visit that app or you always visit that page and you want to only see what what is needed for you. So अगर वहां पे 10 बॉक्सेस है, right, if there are 10 sections, but you want to only see the one section, so why we can see the 10, meaning why user can see the 10 sections, right? So the personalization, meaning give the ability to the user to see only what he wants to see. So if he don't want to see the other 9 boxes, he can remove those, or he can meaning hide those from your web page, and he can only see whatever he intended to, right? So that is what a personalization is, meaning user will only see what he wants to see, and user will decide what he wants to see, not the the page what he want to show, right? So that is actually the personalization, and that is also the important thing in the UX things. Now we talk about the trends, we talk about how that things works, right? But what are the tools and technologies, meaning by using which we can achieve these things, right? So uh, in industry currently, meaning as you all are aware, or most of them aware about the HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? So so these are the core technologies, or the core things in the front end development, right? But with that, currently in market we have different technologies like React, Angular, then there is a Vue as well, and the other older technologies as well, like .NET and those Kotlin and Java, right? But out of those, currently in industry, these two technologies like React and Angular are most dominant and the powerful technologies for the front end development and this UI UX. So what is actually the this React and these things, right? So React and Angular have become a leading frameworks in front end development. So before we go into that, I will first give you the glimpse of what this React and this Angular means. So as you know that the HTML, CSS and JavaScripts are there to build the web pages, right? But they are very limited to do that. Okay. So then there comes this React thing, or Angular thing. So what actually, so first we will see about the React. So what is actually a React? React is a JavaScript based a framework. Okay, it is not a technology, it is just a library which is based out of the JavaScript. Okay, and then it has a concept of component. Then it gives us the flexibility for reusability of component, meaning आपने देखा होगा कि आप कोई भी एक वेब पेज एखादे कोई वेबसाइट पे जाते हो, राइट? सो यू विल सी दैट हेडर इज कॉमन थ्रू आउट द पेजेस, right? In HTML, if we do the same thing, if we have 10 pages, you have to have that header, the common toolbar, 10 times in your application, meaning you have to write the same code 10 times in your 10 pages, because in HTML you cannot reuse anything, ठीक है? But by using React or Angular, where you can create a component and where you can reuse the code, meaning you write your one page or a component which we call in that in React and Angular as a header, let's say, and we can use that, meaning just as a plug and play into the other 10 pages. So you write a code once and reuse it multiple times. So React gives us that flexibility to reuse the code, and React works on a dry component, dry concept. Dry concept, what does dry means? It is a DRY. Do not repeat yourself. Meaning, if you want to write something, write it at once and then use it everywhere. So it is just like that. So so it is about the React. And what about the Angular? So Angular is not a library. So it is just opposite to the React. So it is Angular is a framework, meaning when I say it is a framework, then Angular has their own set of rules to write the codes and to have those files and all those stuffs, and it has their own rule to write a component and its life cycle methods and all those stuff. So in React you cannot see these much of rules there, but in Angular, because it is a framework, so it has various rules to work on that. But both are popular in industry, like React and Angular, and both have a large community, large developer base, and large support from their respective creators. And React is both are open source. React is created by Facebook, and Angular trafficking to your site, right, or your web pages, that